Boris Johnson's deal is not Brexit. So what do we do about it? Well, obviously we've got a general election coming up and we've got to vote in accordance with our consciences. Northern Ireland, it's a very, very simple choice. We either choose the DUP, who are the only true Brexit party, despite the misgivings that many people have about the DUP. We've got to vote for the DUP if we believe in Brexit. Now, in England, it gets a little bit more complicated. In England, you have Leave MPs, genuine Leave MPs in the Tory party, probably 2 or 3 in the Labour Party, no more than that. And you've got the Brexit Party. What do? Do you risk voting for the Brexit Party and allowing a Corbyn government to get in? Would that actually happen? Or do you swallow your pride and vote for the Conservative Party with all that comes with that? See, the Conservative Party is no longer the Conservative and Unionist Party. Despite whether you believe that Boris's deal is Brexit or not, it's not Brexit. The evidence is there that it's basically a reheated Theresa May deal. Whether you believe that or not, the reality is, and this is the truth, that Boris's deal 100% will destroy the Union, because it gives the SNP in Scotland the chance to say, well, if Northern Ireland can be treated differently, so can Scotland. And if Scotland won't be treated differently, we want independence. So Boris is either completely miscalculated or there's something very sinister going on here. Either way, to me, this is what I would do if I was in England. If I was in a Labour heartland that voted Leave and had a chance of getting a Leave MP into Parliament, I would not vote for the Conservative Party. I would vote for the Brexit Party. And again, I have major problems with Nigel Farage, particularly after the way he spoke about the street movement that was made up of veterans, football fans and patriots. And many of them his supporters and his party members. I have big problems with Nigel Farage. But again, we're talking about the best of the bad bunch. Farage, to be fair to him, his Brexit Party is pushing for a no-deal clean break, or what I would call a no-surrender Brexit. If you vote for the Conservative Party, if the Conservative Party get a massive majority in Parliament, Boris will take that as a mandate to push through his Brexit in name only deal. Boris Johnson is the most slippery politician. I mean, we've seen plenty of slippery politicians in the past 30 years. We had Major Disaster, we had the Blair Witch Project, we had the man who decided to give our gold away at a knockdown price, dodgy Gordon Brown, and then we had Theresa the Appeaser. But Boris the Betrayer is without doubt the slipperiest of them all. He couldn't lie straight in bed. He opens bottles of wines with his tongue. He's that twisted. So you can't believe Boris and you can't trust Boris. So I would say what the best outcome in this election, the best outcome for the Leave lobby, and we have no political representation. We've got to realise that the Leave vote was a grassroots people's movement. It's not to do with the Russians or racism or anything else. We just want our country back. We just want independence. We all know that. But we don't have political representation because of that, because it went against the grain. Remember, Boris wrote 2 letters, one saying why it was a good idea to stay in the European Union, one saying why it was a good idea to leave. He flipped a coin and he decided to jump on the Leave bus. And he thinks he won the referendum. Well, he didn't. The British people won the referendum. The British people went against what the whole of the liberal elite, the whole of the establishment were telling them to do, the whole of the media. We went against it and we gave them 2 fingers and said, we're leaving. So the only way that we can get Leave delivered now, because the Conservative Party are not going to deliver on this, the only way we can get Leave delivered is by getting Brexit Party MPs in those Labour strongholds, and even in some of the Tory Remainer strongholds and the ex-Tory Remainer strongholds like Anna Sowerbeek. It'd be good to see her deposed by a Brexiteer. In fact, if Farage is going to stand anyway, maybe Farage should stand against Anna Sowerbeek. That would be an interesting competition. So, in Labour strongholds that voted Leave, vote for the Brexit Party in mass numbers. Don't even think about voting for the Conservatives. Vote for the Brexit Party and get Brexit Party MPs. In Northern Ireland, if we get 11, if we can get an extra MP, there's a guy standing in my constituency who is he's one of the people, he's one of us, a guy called Alex Easton. I'll be voting for him. If we can get 11 DUP MPs in Northern Ireland who believe in leaving the European Union, if we can get 20 Brexit MPs in those hard Labour seats, it gives us a chance. If we get a Tory landslide, Brexit's finished. It is as simple as that, or I believe it is. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm miscalculating. But if Boris is really taking no deal off the table, and if that's in his manifesto pledge, it's going to be very difficult for even Boris to pick his way out of that one. So this is what's at stake. If Boris gets a landslide, Brexit, I believe, in any meaningful way, is over, and we have Brexit in name only. And the Brexit Party, and I'll probably get thrown at UKIP for doing this. I'm no fan of the Brexit Party. I think they really shafted UKIP, and I think UKIP would have been a lot better force and a lot less, a lot more of a broad church than what the Brexit Party appears to be. But this is what the Brexit Party say: if we go for Boris's deal, it says this: Britain remains under EU rules, but with no vote, no voice, and no veto. And they give all the articles and the references and to the different parts of the treaty. EU judges can still override our laws. That's European Court of Justice. We won't be able to do free trade deals until the transition period's over. We won't have any control over our tax or state aid policy. So if one of our major industries gets into difficulties, we can't bail them out unless the EU allows us to. We can't pursue an independent foreign policy, and more worryingly, we can't pursue an independent defence policy. In other words, we're still being swallowed up by the European army. And don't for one minute think that this idea of a European army is propaganda. It's not. It's absolutely true. What else has he got here? Of course, the one that we in Northern Ireland are most passionate about, the United Kingdom, is going to be divided. Northern Ireland will be pushed into an economic United Ireland. It's as simple as that. An economic United Ireland is 1 millisecond away from a true United Ireland and everything that comes with that. This is such an insult to the British people of Ulster. If you, and I say this to my friends in England, if you realised the passion and the anger that has been stoked up by Boris's deal in Northern Ireland, you would be out on the streets, you'd be standing with us, because this could lead to something very, very bad in Northern Ireland. When Unionist people in Northern Ireland, who are the most patriotic people I know, and I don't say that to disparage the patriot movement in England, which I've been a part of for the past 3 years, people in Northern Ireland have been doing this since 1921. This is a 100-year-old struggle for the people of Northern Ireland to remain part of the United Kingdom and to stay British. And they will not be pushed out of the Union. And if this deal goes through, won't happen maybe straight away, but this will lead to serious problems in Northern Ireland. And it'll all be on Boris. Boris, with a stroke of a pen, decided to push Northern Ireland out of the Union. And it will lead to the destruction of the Union. And it will lead, I believe, to major civil unrest and civil disturbances, not just in Northern Ireland, but if Scotland go the road I think Scotland are going to go. There's a lot of Unionists, there's a lot of good patriots in Scotland. They don't all buy the SNP's lie that Scotland is better within the European Union that is in the United Kingdom. There are many sensible, sane, good Unionist people in Scotland. And I don't think they're going to roll over to this either. So, things are looking pretty grim and pretty bleak. I believe Boris is the biggest betrayer this country has ever seen. So my advice is to my English friends, if you're in a Labour Leave constituency, vote for the Brexit Party. Give Boris a bloody nose at the election. We don't want to see Labour in. We want to see Boris get in, but relying on the DUP and the Brexit Party to keep him in power. And if we do that, if we achieve that, we might just get a proper clean break Brexit. If we don't, I believe that our dream of Brexit is finished, and I believe also that the United Kingdom will be destroyed as a result of Boris's Brexit surrender treaty. We don't want a surrender treaty. We want a no surrender Brexit, which is a clean break Brexit. There you go. See you all soon. That's what I would be doing if I was in England. I would be voting for the Brexit Party, voting for Leave Conservative MPs, and in Northern Ireland, I'm absolutely 100% sure who I'm going to be voting for. It's going to be my local DUP candidate, and hopefully we'll get rid of the Remainer who sits in that seat at the moment. See you all soon.